And so now what we're going to do is we're going to now move on to software. So let's go ahead and, so this is where you would go to install like some packages for Openwrt. Do not update. Whatever you do, do not update. The only reason why I say that is just because I've had some very serious issues with it. If you're going to update, try to have a backup, like have like your all your configurations and stuff backed up first, then try to update the packages that's already installed. And if everything works fine, you're good. If everything doesn't work, fresh install fresh install your Openwrt firmware, and then just restore your settings. Because like I had some serious issues when I updated I forgot what packages, what list of packages it was, but it like botched everything. Like my me navigating like was so slow, and sometimes it just straight up just wouldn't work. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to install Advanced Reboot, right? And so what Advanced Reboot will do is Advanced Reboot will let us jump between both partitions, which is one thing I recommend. Advanced Reboot, and there's going to be a few others, but I'm just going to go ahead and do that real quick. Here we go. Here's Advanced Reboot. So let's go ahead and install that. Alright, cool. Advanced Reboot is installed. And so now what we're going to do is we just need to just jump to any random tab first, because it's going to pop up here under System, and you see it's not there yet. So I'll just jump into wireless real quick, and then boom, right? So on the System, here it is, Advanced Reboot. So there we go, right? And as you can see, right? So here's our partition here with Openwrt, the stable version on first, and then here's the release candidate version, right? That we also have installed. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to go ahead and boot into that one, and then we're gonna move on to the next phase of setting up Openwrt, right? Which is going to be getting like some of the packages I recommend in order to get your external hard drive up and running, and your VPNs, whatever VPN service you're using up and running, right? I'm sure you guys how to get all that set up. We're going to go ahead and we're going to boot into our release candidate version of Openwrt here, which is at the time of this video, right? 22.03.0 release candidate 6. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to say is yeah, let's actually back up now the configurations. All right, so back up. All right, so here we go. Right, so we're backing up the configuration. Boom, it's backed up. Now let's go ahead and reboot. Now we're gonna go ahead and boot into our other partition here. All right, so cool. So the router just actually cut on. I see the LAN thing is back up. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's log in. Since this is the new one, obviously nothing's set up yet, but we're going to go ahead and upload our backup. All right, which here you go, right? So there you go. Go ahead and do that. It's going to turn off your router and back on and reset up all the configurations. All right, here we go. So let me go ahead and my password, it should have my password, which it did, and there we go, right? So see, so nice and quick and easy, right? It's gonna have all your settings from like your previous version is immediately copied over into this version here, right? So now let's go ahead and let's actually set it up how we want to, right? All right, so again, right, so we're going to start with the hard drive. So for this router, right, this router actually has 2 USB ports. I have my external hard drive, which is an 8 terabyte external hard drive, plugged into the first USB port. So what we're going to do is we want to be able to access it over, you know, through the router, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and hit the update list here. You see you got all the software. The very first thing I want you guys should install, right, is again the advanced reboot, if I can spell, right? We're gonna go ahead and install the advanced reboot. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, advanced reboot. We're going to actually also install the terminal. So now here's something important, guys. I'm sure a lot of you guys have probably seen all the tutorials and stuff that's like you need to SSH into your router and do this and connect that, right, and do run commands. This is going to be significantly easier for you right here, right? So what I'm going to do is install Lucy app ttyd, right? And this is the terminal that you can run on the router itself, right? And I'm gonna show you what that looks like. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna install that. So let me go ahead and install. And you're just gonna have to wait for it. This, when I found this out, man, oh my gosh, this was like the greatest gift ever. Because I don't know about you guys, but I hate having to do like the inconvenient technical stuff, having to SSH into my my router and do all that funny stuff when I could just sign into my router and just do everything via the interface, right? And then if I gotta use the terminal, at least make it like more convenient for me to do so, which is what this package does right here. So cool. So as you can see, if it got a bunch of stuff to download, it'll just take a second, especially if you got trash internet like me. So all right, so that's in there. Like I say, you just need to jump into like any other tab real quick, and then okay, here we go, right? So see, we got this new tab, services and terminal. So I'll go into terminal. See, so here's the router. It's going to ask you for your username and password, which for me, since we just started it up, right, it's just root and then whatever is the actual password, and boom, right? This is where you can actually run those commands that you need to run, right, if that's what you are going to do. But like I said, we're only going to do that when we absolutely have to, which unfortunately there are some cases where we do, trying to get our hard drive set up. So let's go ahead, let's go back to software. Yeah, every time once you sign in, every time you leave, it'll give you a warning if you want to go. Always say yes. But all right, so next thing I'm going to install, right, is you need to install NTFS 3G and utils. This is for NTFS hard drives. Okay, if you're using exFAT, in fact, let me kind of just show you guys. Openwrt has some good articles on trying to get these these externals working. I'm doing this video to kind of like simplify all that for you. But what you're going to want to do is you want to make sure you're installing the right drivers for like your hard drive as far as what format it is. If it's NTFS, right, then you need to have the NTFS 3G. If you're rocking this thing here, the whatever the F2F file systems are, right, then you need to install those, right? The ext4s, right, those are Linux. Those are Linux versions, right? So there's different things to install depending on what format you're using, right? I use NTFS for my external hard drives, right? I would be using the 3G one. This is going to be a readable. We'll make this readable and first, and then in another video I'll show you guys how to make it writable. But I do the readable thing just for for safety, because I don't want people to like mess it up. All right, especially for me, I have an 8 terabyte hard drive. If I do something wrong, right, that's almost 8 terabytes of stuff. It's just gone with the wind. So let's go ahead and let's install. I probably could have just installed the 3G utils one. So for packages that are dependent on each other, they'll automatically be downloaded. So if I go here, so 3G, see, so 3G was a dependency, so it would have downloaded that one. Also, if I had just went straight to installing this, which is like, that's some stuff to save you, you know, just a little bit extra time. Now the next thing, right? So now the next thing we're going to do is there is a mount. It's called block. I believe it's called block mount. There we go, block mount, right? Block mount. All right, here we go, right? So block mount. So go ahead and install block mount. All right, cool. Now this is where it gets a little like finicky, okay? So now I'm gonna make this super easy for you guys. All right, remember what I talked about that terminal, right? So let's go ahead. So first, let's make sure that the thing is installed here, which should just come up. I'm gonna reboot. I'm gonna reboot just to be on the safe side real quick. Okay, yeah. So that one, so all right, so like I thought, right, I had to reboot the router in order to get mount points to come up, but here you go, right? So here go the mount points. But before any of this works, let's go ahead and hit the terminal. All right, so like I said, you know, you're gonna put in your you know, username and password. All right, so now let's go ahead and let's talk about your hard drive. All right, so assuming you have your hard drive plugged in, to make sure that it works, you need to run this command right here, this lsusb-t command, and look at that, it is not installed. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and install this. I could have gone into software. As a matter of fact, let me just do that, because then I could just splice that in there. Update the list. All right, so like I said, I want to don't want to use the terminal if at all I can help it. Cool, it's in there, and then USB. All right, so USB utilities. All right, we'll go ahead and install that real quick. Cool. All right, so now let's go ahead and terminal now. Going back into our username and then our password, right? Bam, bam. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and not at all the command I was trying to do. It was actually this one. All right, so let's go ahead, libusb. And as you can see, it doesn't look like it actually sees our hard drive. At least like, because the class and the driver is supposed to have something, but let's kind of double check that, right? So we're gonna run this command here, which should show us this. So I'm copying, and there you go. And sure enough, right? Definitely, it definitely did not see our drive. So what we're gonna do is we are going to install Kmod USB storage, right? We're going to install that one, and then we'll try the storage US driver if that one doesn't work, right? If that one, yeah, if that one doesn't work. So let's go here, let's go back. So as you can see, storage and US is not installed. All right, cool. Let's go back into our terminal now. Now let's try this again. All right, now that we have that installed, so we have Kmod USB storage installed, and as you can see, our hard drive still isn't coming up. So now what we need, it looks like we are going to need the storage US version here. All right, now let's go ahead and let's go back to our terminal. All right, try this again. All right, and look at that, right? So now for driver, right, we do have US, right? Class is still blank, but US is there. So that tells us, right, that our hard drive is now starting to be seen. So now let's go ahead and, don't know why I ran that a second time, but let's explore that a little further and actually run this particular command here. And look, all right, so the hard drive is now indeed being seen. All right, so the hard drive is there. Now what we're going to do is we are going to mount it. All right, now here is where like it's complicated, but it's not. I promise you it's not, right? You just need to understand what's going on. So you can't mount the hard drive to a location that doesn't exist. So the first thing you need to do is you need to make a specific folder somewhere that you're going to mount the hard drive at, right? So for me, I am going to command thing here that you can use to mount it. Me, I like to, you know, make everything that I make. So just change the whatever comes after mount slash to the name of the folder you actually want. So I am going to name it as such, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. So that made the folder in my at this specific location. Now we are going to actually mount it, which if you just track along with these this code here, right, you will actually get it mounted. So let me go ahead and mount that. Okay, so now it should be mounted. And how do we absolutely confirm and make sure? Well, we didn't get an error or anything like that. And if I go here to mount points, so if I go here to mount points, here it is. It is mounted. So it is indeed mounted in this location. Now, what if you did not, it did give you an error, right? Or for whatever reason, it's just not mounting. There's usually one particular issue that tends to happen a lot, that nowhere nowhere will you find out that this was the problem the whole time. If you're having a mount issue, let me sign back in real quick. If you're having a mount issue, what you have to do, like if for whatever reason, like you know the hard drive, you see that the router sees the hard drive, right? You got everything installed. You can plug it into your computer and it works without a problem. And you run check disk. If you run check disk on it and there's no issue, that still doesn't fix it. So what you need to do is you're going to need to actually run this NTFS fix dev SDA1, right? And so you'll go here, you do, Jesus, I don't know why. All right, you need to run that, and then it should go through without an issue. Right now, because it is mounted, it doesn't want to do it. But I promise you, if you run this, and if I get a chance to figure out how to give the error, I'll show you guys. As a matter of fact, I think I actually have the. I'm pretty sure I have a photo of it. So you would run this command, and then you'll actually see it do something with the MFT table. And then once that's fixed, once it says it's good, then you should be able to mount it. So you run those mount commands, and then that'll work without any problems. So that's it for now for that segment of actually mounting the hard drive. Now we're going to actually talk about actually getting it to come up on your Windows computers, as well as like you know, access like to your phone and whatnot. And that's where it gets intense.